I started thinking, well, how are we going to make sure we make enough money and enough audience? And so John Price was actually kind of instrumental in saying, well, why don't you do a jazz festival? And so we did a jazz festival. I think we charged something like $60 or $70 per entry fee. And I know when I left Bellevue, we were charging $265 per entry fee. Anyway, we made enough money, and we had enough people in the audience that we broke even. And I got my $5,000 back, but we made some money on the jazz festival. And here again, my mother did not raise an entirely dumb kid. And so I realized that where we would make the money is doing a jazz festival. So we started doing a jazz festival from there on. And from 1982, the jazz festival grew and grew and grew. And I believe in '97, when I left, we had like 70 or 75 entries a weekend. It was pretty frantic for adjudicators. I think I paid the adjudicators $300 a piece, which probably wasn't enough. I wouldn't want to adjudicate that many bands. That's a lot of bands. We attended our first jazz festival in 1982. As far as our band, I had to twist arms to get them to do it. And they complained because it was on the opening of Boat Weekend. And our first jazz festival was I know I'm ahead of myself. First jazz festival was the Viking Jazz Festival in Polesville. Damon Batchelor and Jordan Singer were in the band. Was anyone else in that band? Okay. And I believe Brad Conker, who's on the faculty here at Bellevue High School, was in that band. And then the next year in '83, we added another festival. I was able to add it, and they weren't real happy about going to the festival, not real confident about it at the time. We went to the Hyatt Jazz Festival in Westminster, and Mark Whitfield, one of the great guitarists in the country, and I know some of you probably remember him, won the Outstanding Soloist Award. Even though we didn't win anything as a band, he won the Outstanding Soloist Award. And then the following year, we added the Columbia Basin Jazz Festival, along with the Hyatt Jazz Festival, and Jim Black, here again back at the Hyatt Jazz Festival, won the Outstanding Drummer Award. Jim, where are you? Remember that? Am I correct in the time? It was a big snare drum you got to take home for a year, if I recall. Remember that? On a platform.
Make it.
Well, he actually did return it. I had to force him. If I'm not sure, I think he was playing it out on the field last night. In any case, then we're on the last page. We're closing in on it. My wife said this is way too long. In 1986, we started, in fact, that's when I met my wife, the weekend before we won our first jazz festival. My mind was not particularly on the jazz festival. We went to one in Oregon, and thereon we started a string of, I think, about 24 or 25 straight sweepstakes all the way up through 91. And with outstanding soloists of Kuhn Vu on trumpet, who's the director of jazz studies at the University of Washington. Arnold Hammerschlag on trumpet. I understand he's playing in some combos in the New York area. Greg Reitan on piano. Went to, he's a Trojan, went to USC. And I understand he's writing under a pseudo. I mean, this is several years ago when I found this. It's probably changed. Writing under a pseudonym in Los Angeles and doing a lot of playing. All this, as much as I dislike the internet, I've looked up and I keep track of an awful lot of you. Some of you I can't find. And then Marco Luiso won some outstanding awards through that area, and I understand he's a pediatrician or a family doctor in the Tacoma area. But all these folks, they were not just outstanding, but they were chosen as the best soloists at the festivals. So that was kind of the story of what went on with the band and jazz band. Of course, I failed to go into much detail about our trip to Denmark in 1976. We left on the 4th of July at about 12:30 in the morning.
2nd of July.
We're gone. Was it 2nd? Okay. Thank you, Mark. And we're gone for 2 weeks. Great trip for everyone. I never did really thank you guys for the gift you gave me. Just before you departed on the plane back to the States, while myself and some of the chaperones went on to Paris, but they presented me with a grocery bag full of beer caps. Remember that?
Wasn't me.
No, we have no recollection.
I have to admit, I was kind of young and not as mellow as now. I wasn't as happy about it at the time. But it was kind of clever looking back. In closing, I just want to say, in all my teaching, I ended up teaching 45 years.
Not one.
That'd be
There
illegal.
was never a day in all my teaching, Bill, quit laughing back there, that I did not look forward to arriving at Bellevue High School and look forward to working with the band member. There's never a single day. There were some days when I didn't feel too good because of maybe misbehaving the night before a little bit, but I always looked forward to coming to Bellevue High School. And I didn't realize until much later, after I totally retired, how much I've appreciated every one of you, and those of you who are here, and how important you've been to my life, not as musicians, but just as individuals. And I've really found that out, and you've been so welcoming since the time we arrived by limousine from SeaTac. My wife says I could get used to this. I said, don't try. In fact, I recall many instances of very unbelievable performances at festivals, trips, very hard and intense rehearsals in the evenings, including Pepsi cans. And not only including Pepsi cans, but you may recall that we cut that rehearsal a little bit short. I was feeling a little dizzy. That's an inside joke, and you need to ask some of the percussionists about that. And of course, all the relationships I've had with all of you and the goals to reach our very best. I always desired to instill in all of you a self-discipline and willingness to work together as a team and with a continuing passion for personal and professional integrity and character. And hopefully these attributes have followed you all of your lives, and in with your own families and your own children. In fact, I was talking to someone after the game last night that actually kind of quoted what I just said about their own child. In closing, I want to thank all the band and orchestra students and your parents for your support and hard work and dedicated teamwork, because without your parents putting up with your really screwed up evening meals because we had a band rehearsal, it couldn't have happened. And then I especially want to thank the current band members and Ed George for the tradition that you're carrying on for Bellevue High School, because Bellevue High School has, over the years, developed a very strong tradition for the entire city. And I just want to thank you all. You've been a very important part of my life. I thank you for the last couple of days. You made me feel extremely welcome. I have to admit I was a little concerned coming back, not having seen or talked to any of you for so many years. And you've made me feel just very welcome, and I thank you for that. And thank you very much.